Going to therapy with an estranged parent. I made a video about this the other day in response to a comment. I'm going to tag it in the section that describes this video if you would like to see that. I want to respond to a comment that was made that is a very good comment in my opinion, and open up some dialogue around it. Okay, so let's get into it, shall we? I have always heard to be very careful about going to therapy with a narcissist. Some are able to fool the therapist and can make things worse. It's a sticky situation for sure. I 100% agree with that comment. Here's the thing though. We can look at our parent and recognize narcissistic patterns of abuse. And in some cases, if you go to a psychologist or psychiatrist who's qualified to actually make that diagnosis, kind of the way that law enforcement will build a profile of someone, so like a reverse kind of diagnosis where you take all the information and you see what the patterns are, and you can, within a certain degree of certainty, go, okay, yes, this person has NPD, or they're pretty damn close, or they're in the spectrum of this or whatever. Unless you're doing that, you're not going to actually know definitively whether or not your parent is a narcissist. When I say my mother is a sociopath and a narcissist, it's actually because every single professional I've ever seen throughout my lifetime, beginning at the age of 26, has told me that. People that I've seen, not just as a client, but professionally, because I work in this field, has told me that. So, when you have a bunch of different professionals ranging from psychologists, PhDs to psychiatrists, independently telling you the same thing, I think I can pretty much rest assured that that's where my mother lies in the spectrum of all this. Oftentimes we don't know. All we know is that their behavior is toxic and abusive. And yes, if they are a narcissist, or even if they're highly toxic and abusive and not a narcissist, they will use therapy as a way to hurt you. There's no question about it. They use it to develop even better cognitive empathy, which, by the way, they already have. They already have cognitive empathy. That's not what's missing with them. It's the feeling stuff that's missing. It's the relating and the actually, oh my God, I feel this other person's pain, which most of us can do with our children. We feel our children's pain. We go out of our way to prevent it. They're the opposite. Intellectually, they understand what they're doing. Emotionally, they don't give a toss because they don't connect to it. They only connect to themselves. So when they go to therapy and they learn what hurts somebody, they will feign to the therapist, oh, I'm never going to do that again. And then as soon as you leave, they've grabbed you and punched you in the face, right with that thing that they said they were never going to do. So let's say you go to therapy with your estranged parent and you give it a shot and they twist the therapist around. That right there tells you that they're not going to grow and change and do the things that you need them to do to heal the relationship. So then you have your answer. And will it hurt and suck in the moment? Yep, sure will. Will it trigger some stuff that you have to work on? Yeah, it will. It will. Are you going to die from that? No. Are you going to receive a validation from that in the recognition of you really went with an open heart to try to heal your relationship and that parent chose not to do that? There's a validation in that. So in that pain, there is healing. I think the risk is worth it. Unless you feel like you are in a place where you are not emotionally strong enough, then delay it until you are. And for anyone who might want to ask me, well, would you go to therapy with your mother? No. No. So am I giving advice I'm not willing to take? Yes. Sometimes I do that. Not very often. Here's the reason why. I went no contact at around 22, 23 years of age. I did try to have a relationship with my mother when she popped up at my doorway unannounced 17 years later. And I saw that I was still dealing with the same person. My mother, after all of the things that she's done to me, I will never feel safe with her. And I don't want a relationship with her. I want a mother, but I want a mom, but I don't want her. She's not a person that I admire, that I respect, that I want, that I need, none of that. But there's a lot of people out there whose relationships can be salvaged. And if you think that there's any possibility whatsoever, then do yourself the solid and go. My effort was when I called my mother and tried to connect with her and heal our relationship, and she didn't respond to the call. So while I wouldn't go to therapy with her now, I did try to repair the relationship. And no, it wasn't my job to do so. But she's my mom, right? But she's your mother, and I wanted to try. So I did. Came, I saw, I went, and I'm not going backwards. Because at this point, all these years later, I don't see a benefit. She also did some things in relationship to my eldest child that she's off the island forever. So yeah, I would not personally do that. And I think that there are a lot of people who are in the place and space that I am where it's not important enough for you now to need to do that. And actually what's important is you just keep living your life because you like where it is and don't need or want that disruption. And obviously that's okay too. I'm talking to the people who are still looking to try to have that connection and look at that as an opportunity with some fear that is well founded. Thanks for the comment, and keep asking questions, keep commenting. I would really like to build a closer community with everyone and do that through connecting to you in this way. I will see you soon, and thank you so much.